Hi everyone, I'm Basil. I'm the developer of the SPD-SX-Editor, and today I want to show you 3 hidden functionalities of the SPD-SX, which I found quite useful. First, we will talk about how you can use the SPD-SX for your in-ear monitoring. Secondly, I will show you how you can make backups on your computer, how you can manage them and also do changes on your computer without an SPD-SX connected to your computer. And I will show you how you can use the SPD-SX as a MIDI controller to control another instrument like a synthesizer. I use the SPD-SX often for my in-ear monitoring. So I sometimes use the click of the SPD-SX, and I like to have the monitor sound and the click, and also my backing tracks or samples on the same in-ear monitoring. So what I'm doing is basically I want to have the monitor sound from the venue going into my SPD-SX, so I have it in the end on my headphones. This is for sure not like the most professional approach, but it's perfect for small venues when you gig a lot, but on smaller places you don't have a lot of time to set up. Like this, you have always your click with you, you're sure you can hear your backing tracks, your samples, and you also hear your band members, which is super important. So the trick is quite easy. You go basically here into the menu, system settings, and go down to audio in and output. And what we do, we go here to the output and route it in a way that the input is only come out on your headphones. And that's basically it. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the signal from the venue and put it directly in the input of the SPD-SX, which is basically meant for recording. But in this way, I just use it for my in-ear monitoring. Then I have the volume in the back where I can adjust a little bit the volume of the venue. I have a separate volume for the click and the general volume for my headphones. That's all I need. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I do backup of my SPD-SX and how I manage it on my computer. First, I connect the SPD-SX via USB to my computer. Then I select the drive, and there's a folder called Roland. I copy the whole folder and create a new folder on my computer or my backup drive. I name it by the date of today so that they also keep in order. Then I paste my configuration into it, and that's it. Now I have a backup on my external hard drive or on my computer. I disconnect now the SPD-SX and I redeem the configuration I just saved on my computer. So now I'm not connected to an SPD-SX, but I'm still able to access the whole configuration. I can change something, save it here. Then I can go back to my backup. I can go to my SPD-SX and replace the folder on the SPD-SX with the local folder I had before. So the configuration is now overwritten. I will redeem the configuration on the SPD-SX, and the change is still here. So now I'll show you how I use the SPD-SX as a MIDI controller for a synthesizer. In one of my projects called Apple Shakers, I'm using a Moog synthesizer as our bass. And in order that I can control it while playing drums, I'm using the pads to send MIDI notes into the synth. The setup cable-wise is quite easy. I have a MIDI cable which is going out from the SPD-SX to the input of the Moog. Then I have a couple of foot switches on it just to have a little bit more options. Like one I have is kind of a wowie pedal where I can control the filter of the synthesizer. And the other one is basically a sustain pedal with two functionality. One is a sustain which is pushed to have a sustain, like a normal sustain pedal. As long as I push it, I have a sustain. And as soon as I leave it go, the sustain disappears. And the other one is kind of a toggle, so I can really turn it off, and now you see the light is on. So the sustain will be on of the synthesizer, like until I turn it off. Since it's so close to my hi-hat, I can basically do this just with my heel. In the SPD-SX-Editor, we create now a new kit. Then we select the pad we want to send the MIDI note from, go to the MIDI settings. I can leave this setting on global. This is useful if you're sending out MIDI notes for different instruments, then you can assign a channel to each instrument. Then we select the MIDI note we want to send, and we set the external control on, and we need to set a gate which basically defines for how long the MIDI note will be on, and afterwards it will turn off again. Now let's copy paste the pads and edit all MIDI notes individually. Most drummers are using the MIDI functions to control Ableton Live or another DAW. To me, this kind of setup is quite useful because I'm not relying on a computer on stage, but I'm still able to control other instruments from the SPD-SX. Now let's rename it to our song, which is called Walking, and the tempo is 82. Save the configuration, and that's it. So now, since we set it up everything, I'll give you a quick demonstration how this can sound in an example of one of our songs.
Show you living too slow. It's not for the likes of a man on a mission. Search the city to find what's missing. Find a place to call your home. Get your rent paid and a girl to call your own. The chip on your shoulder is twice the size of mine. All your baggage done some damage. Better leave it all behind.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. If you want to know more about the SPD-SX-Editor or about my band Apple Shakers, you will find the links down in the description.